Hey guys, I think I've done it. I think I've actually found the most hilariously insane mum on Reddit. But this story does somehow have a happy ending. Entitled mother calls the police on me for stealing her daughter, who's my girlfriend, and an adult. Posted by Deranged Behemoth. Background. This happened about 5 years ago. My fiance Ellie and I have been together for 7 years this month. We were reminiscing about old stories yesterday when this one came up, and she suggested I share it. She was my girlfriend at the time, and at the time, I was fully aware that her mum was a few fries short of a Happy Meal, but this was the pinnacle of her behaviour. It's long, but has a happy ending. So, onto the story. Ellie and I weren't living together at the time. She just stayed over from time to time when she could. I took her home after she'd been staying with me for a couple of days and I was heading to work. But shortly after, just before getting to work, I get a phone call from her and I can tell that she's in tears. Apparently, when she got inside, Entitled Mother immediately blew up at her about where she'd been gone for so long, even though it was only 2 days. And she told Entitled Mother that she was going to be gone and kept in contact with her while she was gone. But Ellie just sort of brushed it off and went to her room. Entitled Mother's house was pretty much your stereotypical crazy cat lady's house. The house was basically decaying, cats all over the place, going to the bathroom in random places and whatnot. When Ellie gets to her room, she realizes while she was gone, the cats pooped and peed all over a pile of her clean clothes. But whatever. Ellie decides to just bag them up and she would wash them next time she comes by my place. Her mum didn't have a functioning washer at the time. And apparently, that really set Entitled Mother off. Entitled Mother apparently thought that Ellie was bagging up her clothes because she was planning on going back to my place that night to stay for another few days. So she stomped into her room, grabbed the bag, and ripped it wide open, flung the clothes all over the room, along with the cat shit and piss, while screaming at Ellie that she's not going anywhere. That's when Ellie ran outside and called me. She was so upset and didn't know what to do. Her mum had been doing crazy stuff to Ellie since I'd been with her, but up until then, I just helped her however I could, without getting involved, and not saying a word to her mum. I told her to go ahead and get the things she needs and I'll take her to my place. She said she would love that. I told my work that I was going to be late due to an emergency, and turned around to go pick her up. When I pulled back into the house, Ellie was in the driveway crying. I went and hugged her and told her it was going to be okay, and that she could stay with me for as long as she wanted. So she went back inside to get her things. As I was standing outside waiting, I heard the door open again and went to help Ellie with her things. But, oh no, it's her mum. Entitled Mum comes stomping out with her hair crazy and frizzled in an old nightgown. She beelines for me and gets right up in my face. Entitled Mum, with an extremely thick, high-pitched southern accent. My daughter said I need to come out here and ask what you think of me. I knew that was a blatant lie, as Ellie would never instigate this. You got something to say, huh? You think I'm trash, don't you, huh? That's what you think, isn't it? Again, up until now, I'd completely kept my mouth shut and was trying to maintain that. But this woman was up in my face, freaking out, and was tormenting the woman I love. So I finally looked at her and broke my silence. OP, why do you treat her like this? Entitled Mother. What do you mean? That's my daughter! I worship the ground she walks on! OP, oh really? So calling her a slut, bitch, cunt, and whore is worship? Yes, I've heard her say this with my own ears. Entitled Mum. I would never say anything like that! OP, getting rather irate. P.S. I've heard you say it. Entitled Mum explodes. Get your effing ass off my property! Okay, I almost never find myself in situations like this, so I'm not used to it. I say that because after she said this, I pretty much saw red. I'm not proud of it, but I just started shouting every curse word in the book that I could possibly think of at the top of my lungs, while she went back inside the house. But thankfully, that only lasted for a few seconds, and I immediately calmed down. So finally Ellie comes back out with her stuff. We put it in the car and I assume it's over. But Ellie then turns to me and says, "I'm sorry, but we can't leave yet." Me, "Why not?" Ellie sighed. "My mum called the cops." I sorta had a feeling that would happen. No big deal. So we just sat and waited for the cop to arrive. After about 10 minutes or so, a cop pulls up. Right as he does, entitled mother comes out of the house and oh my god, yes, she was doing exactly what you think. She instantly puts on the fragile, brittle old lady act, hunched over and walking slowly, the whole gig. And of course, when the police officer asks her what happened, she has to pitch her entire medical chart to the guy. This woman has been terminally ill for 12 years. Lol. So, when she finally gets done trying to milk this poor guy for sympathy, she tells her version of what happened. Entitled mother: "Sir, he came onto my property and verbally attacked me. He's awful to me, sir. I've never done anything to him. He's turned my daughter against me and is trying to convince her to leave." At first he seems somewhat sympathetic to her, until he turns to Ellie. Police officer: "Ma'am, is this your boyfriend?" Ellie: "Yes, sir." Police officer: "Okay, and how old are you?" Ellie: "Sir, I'm 23. This was my favourite part because the police officer looked up from his notepad with a look of, "Wait, what?" Obviously, he thought Ellie was a minor or something based off of how entitled mother was acting, but quickly realised just what he was dealing with. Eventually, he turns to me. Police officer: "Okay, sir, please give me your version of what happened." I did so. Funny side note, at some point, the police officer looks up at me and says, "You look really familiar. Do I know you?" It actually turned out that the police officer and I had gone to high school together. Once we recognised each other, we laughed and shook hands and briefly chatted. This was hilarious because out of the corner of my eye, I see entitled mother has a big scowl on her face as she sees me getting friendly with the police officer. But anyway, the police officer puts away his notepad and turns to me. "Just FYI, he says, following with this heavy tone of, "I know you're fully aware of this and don't believe you're in the wrong at all, but I have to say it as a formality. Well, OP, she doesn't want you on the property, so be aware that if you do come back here, technically you can be charged with trespassing. Do you understand this as I've explained it to you?" OP: "Absolutely, sir." Entitled mother: "But, sir, I want to press charges." Police officer: "He didn't do anything illegal, ma'am." Entitled mother: "But he verbally assaulted me!" Police officer: "I understand that, and while that was ill-advised, it's not something I can arrest him for. He agrees that he won't come back on your property without your direct permission." Entitled mother: "Oh, okay, fine, whatever. Ellie, come back inside." Ellie: "What? No." Entitled mother: "You heard the police officer. OP is leaving, and you're staying here." Police officer: "Whoa, ma'am, I did not say that at all." Entitled mother: But. Police officer: "Your daughter is not a child, ma'am. She's a full-grown adult. She has every right to go wherever she wants." Entitled mother: "I'm her mother! She lives under my roof. I told her she needs to stay here, so she needs to stay." Police officer: "No, ma'am, that's not how it works. If she wants to stay with her boyfriend, there is absolutely nothing you can do to stop her." Entitled mother starts fake crocodile tears and stomps back into the house in defeat. Ellie and I thanked the officer, got in the car and left, and we've been living together ever since. There's actually a happy ending, believe it or not. Entitled mother isn't really much of an entitled mother anymore. Over the years since that day, entitled mother has actually decided to make an effort to try and improve herself. I guess she realised that if she didn't make changes, she would lose her relationship with Ellie. So, entitled mother started taking advantage of her medical coverage and went to see a psychiatrist and got medication for the mental illness that she actually had, as opposed to all the ones that she made up. Since then, well, she's actually gotten way better. She takes the medication regularly and has a boyfriend that is an extremely kind man and treats Ellie as though she was his own daughter. So yeah, basically, entitled mother isn't really an entitled mother anymore. We actually get along really well and see them frequently, and we help each other out whenever we can. We actually look back on the early years when she was in fact an entitled mother and laugh. So not only is everyone getting along well, we can actually share in the cringe stories and happily laugh about them. Happy endings are so rare on Reddit, except maybe in the pro-revenge subreddit. If you guys have a particular subreddit you want to hear from, let me know. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching!